Hey, what is going on? Ecom Dominators, Cynthia here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how Facebook ads work. And I know a lot of you have been requesting this, saying, hey Cynthia, can you please make a video talking a little bit more in depth about Facebook ads? So this is going to be the video, and if you are new to my channel, hey, what's up? My name is Cynthia, and I teach everything related to print-on-demand t-shirt business. So if you're interested in learning more about how you can get started with your own t-shirt store, then please remember to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on that bell notification. So if you guys want to learn how Facebook ads work, then keep on watching, guys. Alrighty guys, so let's get started. And I hate when people do all this extra intro to try and teach you Facebook ads, but I'm just going to deep dive into it right now. So let me ask you guys a question. Does your Facebook ads right now look something like this? So let's just make a quick little chart. Let's just say that this is your number of sales, right? And this is the number of days that you have ran your ad. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so this is how most people's Facebook ads look like. They start running their ad on day 1, and maybe they get 1 sale, so you're right here. And then they go to day 2 of running their ad, and they get no sales, right? And then they go to the 3rd day of running their ad, and maybe you got lucky and you got 2 sales. So let's put 2 here. The 4th day, maybe you got 1 sale, and then the 5th day you got no sales. Does this kind of look like how your Facebook ads are running? Right? If this is how your Facebook ads are running, then you need to seriously do more research on how Facebook ads work and kind of learn how the Facebook algorithm works. And we're going to be deep diving into that today. But basically, as you can see how the trend of your Facebook ad performance is going. If you are not slowly increasing upwards, okay, this means that you're scaling. If you're not doing this, in fact, that you are either plateauing or you're going downwards, that means something is wrong with your Facebook ads. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that later. But first off, what I want to say is Facebook, here's what people don't know. Facebook works in an algorithm. Okay? And this algorithm is very complex. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you right now how the Facebook algorithm works. So, number one, they based your ad based on the bid and how much money you're willing to pay Facebook to show your ads, put your products in front of your customers. So I'm going to look at bid. Okay. A higher bid will always trump a lower bid. And that makes sense to a lot of people, right? You say, oh, Cynthia, I know that already. Well, do you? Okay? Because I hear a lot of people say that, Cynthia, I started $5 ads. How come I'm not making $10,000 per day, right? And I always say $5 per day is good for what? Testing. It's not for scaling. You can't keep your ads at $5. You need to eventually start scaling. So what happens is your competition is willing to pay Facebook $50 a day, $100 per day, as opposed to your $5 per day. Okay, so bidding is one of the factors that goes into the Facebook algorithm. The next one that goes into the Facebook algorithm is your targeting. All right, targeting. When you go inside your Facebook Ads Manager and you scroll all the way down where, you know, it depends what niche you're in. Say you're in the cat niche and you type in people that love cats, I love cats, cat celebrities, cat magazines, and you put it all the way in, Facebook will eventually show your product, your cat t-shirt, in front of people that like cat magazines. So the better you're targeting, Facebook will see your ad as relevant content. relevant content is very important because if you're showing a product that people do not connect with, they do not like, the chances of them liking or clicking on your link is very small. And so if Facebook sees that, they're going to say, hey, this isn't relevant content. We're going to push your ads down. So that goes factor into their algorithmic process. All right. I have a lot more to write. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this and I'm going to list the Facebook factors on here again. Okay, so I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we are back here. I just erased the board and kind of shift everything that I was talking about down here, right up here. So previously I was talking about how Facebook ad works. It works based on an algorithm so that your bidding matters. If you bid a higher percentage than some people, then your ads will get shown. Right? So there's a difference between $20 per day versus a $5 per day ad. Now that isn't the only determining factor that gets Facebook figuring out if your ads will be optimized at its fullest. They also look at targeting. When you're targeting a certain customer, is it relevant content? Are these people relating to your product, relating to your message? So I'm going to be talking a little bit, deep diving a little bit more about targeting. Now, targeting isn't just about relevant content when you are selling your product, say it's a t-shirt. Okay? Has to have good customer to product match. Okay, this is very important and I teach my students all the time. Are you showing your audience the correct product? Your product could be a great product, but what happens is if you show your product to the wrong audience, they're still not going to buy. So you need to do a lot of testing in order to figure out which kind of customer or audience is a buying audience. Now, there's always a difference between a buying audience and just audience that's engaging with your content, and that just goes into testing. The buyer audience is usually people who may not like or share your post, but they'll click on the link and purchase. Those buying behaviors, Facebook has that data. That's why you need to pay Facebook a little bit of money to buy data to figure out where your buying audience is. Now, there's a subgroup of people that you target that do love cats. However, they are just more likely to like your ad, share your ad, things like that. But those do not bring in sales. And at the end of the day, all we care about is sales. Are you making sales? All right, guys. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is good ad copy / a good product. Okay? A good ad copy and a good product. You could be having a very, very good t-shirt design. However, if your ad copy sucks, a lot of people aren't going to still click on your ad and purchase it. At the end of the day, when you're trying to sell anything, you need to refine your good marketing skills, meaning the ad copy will be your first impression of your product. If you mess it up, it is very unlikely that your customers will stop and look at your ad. They're just going to keep scrolling through their news feeds. So another thing is, do you have a good product? A lot of people don't spend a lot of time figuring out, is this a good product? They just worry about Facebook ads. Well, if you don't have a good product, it doesn't matter how good your Facebook ads is, you still won't be able to sell any. Now, the next one is most people don't know that if you have a good targeting, that will always trump a higher bid. Now, I'm not saying, I guess I shouldn't say always, but usually Facebook would favor an ad that has more relevancy, more engagement, rather than an ad that has a higher bid. And why is that? Facebook is a platform where they care about their user experience. And so if you're able to have good targeting where people are engaging with your content, commenting, sharing, clicking on your ads, things like that, all of those good things, Facebook will favor that a little bit more than the one with the higher bid but really terrible engagement. So I hope that makes sense, that not only is your bid isn't the only determining factor. Doesn't mean that you're going to spend $100 with Facebook that you're going to beat out everyone who only bid $50, $20, $10, right? Okay, so that's one thing. And another thing I want to talk about that a lot of people always ask me about is about conversion windows. Conversion windows are the ones that are at the bottom of when you create your ads. They're right at the bottom after you create your targeting. Now, conversion windows are separated into, you can do a 1-day conversion or a 7-day. Now, there is one that is a little bit above the 7-day. However, it is not available to everyone in the public. It's available to people who have their ad account for a very long time and have spent a lot of money with Facebook. They're going to give you a higher conversion windows. And what conversion window basically means is how long does it take for your customers to purchase your product. And so most people swear by 1 day, most people swear by 7 days. And I'm going to give you my 2 cents on how conversion window works. If you have a low priced product, meaning let's just say a t-shirt, okay? For every sale that you make, let's just say you bank $10, that's a low priced product. And so when it's a cheap product, you're probably going to get more sales as opposed to someone who's selling a high ticket product, like say $300 for a product itself, like just to say it's a canvas or something. And so the 1 day are usually optimized better for people advertising a lower ticket product, and the 7-day conversion window is usually better optimized for a high ticket item. It makes sense because people usually don't buy a high ticket item the first time they see it. They probably need to see it, 2 times, 5 times, 10, maybe even 10 times before they actually trust the company to pay for that high ticket item. And so what a 7-day conversion window does is it basically takes the Facebook ads data within the 7 days that you're running it and kind of analyzing that data to figure out where your audience is. So a 7-day conversion window will work way better usually than a 1-day window because it will collect the data within 7 days instead of only a 1-day data. 7-day conversion window will have way more data than a 1-day window. So I hope that makes sense. But from my experience, whether or not you're selling a high ticket or a low ticket item, 1 or 7 day doesn't really make that much of a difference. So a lot of people always stress about the conversion windows. I've done many tests. It hasn't really had much changes for me. But if you found a change, go ahead and go with 1 or 7 days. Alright guys, so last but not least, I want to talk about this. No one ever talks about this for some reason. But Facebook last year rolled out the positive negative feedback. And what that is you as advertisers don't actually get to rate yourself. The customers that actually clicked on your link, purchased your product, Facebook will automatically ask them to fill out a survey asking, hey, can you please tell us about your buying experience? So a customer that has purchased from you may fill out a survey saying, hey, I purchased from this store, from this advertiser, and the experience was very good. I got my product fast. It was great quality. I will purchase from them again. So in other words, they're giving you a positive feedback, meaning you are a legitimate company. Sometimes people who are in the drop shipping business and who are drop shipping from AliExpress, the shipping times are erratic. So sometimes customers aren't getting their product in a month, maybe 2 months. And so they're saying this company is a scam. I'm not getting my product. I'm going to leave a negative review saying this is not a legitimate company. So oftentimes your feedback score will be very low. Now, Facebook has stated that if your feedback score is lower than, I believe it was 1.7 or 1.5, I forget, but it's around that area, that if you are lower, your ad performance and your ad reach will be limited. So imagine that you are paying Facebook the same amount of money as your competitors. However, your ads is going to reach lesser people than your competitor solely based on the feedback of your previous customers. That will be terrible for your business, and your ads will get more expensive than you can pay for. So most people neglect this, okay? So if you haven't been checking your feedback on your store, you need to go check that out. I'll probably drop a link down below somewhere, but you need to be paying attention. Is your Facebook page getting a positive feedback? That goes into Facebook's algorithm, how they're going to serve your ad. Are they going to serve it better than your competitors or worse? So like I said, Facebook algorithm is very complex. It's not something that you can calculate yourself. It is many different factors, as I just showed you, that goes into whether or not Facebook will favor your ad over someone else's. All right, guys. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving on. I'm going to be erasing this, and we're going to move on to the next topic, guys. Alrighty, guys, so we are back here, and I just erased the board, and we're going to move on to the next topic. And this next topic is, I would say, way more important than doing Facebook ads, and that is having a good product. Not a lot of people focus on this enough. Everybody always worry about Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads. People do a ton of research on it. People's like, there must be a secret targeting, a secret bidding method, you know, a secret something that will make their ad explode. And let me tell you this, that is completely not true. If you have a product that is terrible, if you have a design that is terrible, no one will buy it. So this is what I want to focus on. This is actually what I teach my students, that product research and niche and understanding your niche is way more important, infinitely more important than your Facebook ads. Okay, so you have a bad product. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. No ninja Facebook ad tactics will work. Write this down. If you have a bad product, no ninja Facebook ad tactics will work. I don't care how good your Facebook ad targeting skills are. I don't care if you're giving Facebook $100 a day. If you have a bad product, you're going to make 0 sales. Guarantee it. You can hire someone who is experienced in the Facebook ads arena, and you're still not going to make sales because you have a bad product. So people don't talk about this often. Everybody always want to talk about Facebook ads. So this is the part where I really want you to focus in, is do your research on your niche. What does your niche like? What are your competitors selling that's making them sales that you're not doing? A lot of research goes into this. So in any winning product, you will be making sales even if you're running a PP ad. From my experience, usually a winning product, you will still make sales even if you're running a PPE ad. Okay. Now, PPE ads aren't the best type of ads. My favorite type of ads is always going to be website conversion ads, because that's when Facebook is really optimizing your ad to find buyers. But when you're running a PPE ad, Facebook is actively trying to find people who are more likely to engage with your ads. However, even if Facebook is actively trying to find people who are wanting to engage with your ad, it doesn't mean that there aren't still going to be people purchasing from you. You'll still get a few sales. And if you have a winning product, like I said, you'll still get a few sales even running a PP ad. I ran many tests, and this shows to be true. Okay? Not saying it's the best ad, but I'm just saying if you have a good product, it doesn't really matter. You can have so-so Facebook ad experience, and you'll still be able to make a positive ROI, and you can still make your winning designs work. All right, guys? And in a winning product, usually what comes with a winning product is you get positive engagement. Okay? Why? Because people are relating to your design. And what I always tell my students is, if your current design isn't working, you need to ask yourself, is my design creating an emotion? Is it making people laugh? Is it making people sad? Is it making people kind of cry or some sort of emotion when people look at your t-shirt design? It's supposed to enlighten some sort of emotion. Like, people don't want to purchase anything that doesn't have meaning. People don't want to purchase anything that they have no passion in. And so always ask yourself, will my niche audience purchase this? And this just goes back to, I always recommend to my students, whenever you are stuck picking a niche, to go with a niche that you are also passionate about too. Because when you're passionate about it, you can actually ask yourself these type of questions. Will I buy this? Will I buy that? Okay. Now another thing is, your designs have to be unique. It has to be a good design. Okay. This is what happens when your winning product is unique, meaning you are the first to market that product. Your competitors are probably marketing some other product that you're copying off of. Well, the problem is they've already scaled to their audience, and most people have already seen it or purchased it already, and so you're too late in selling that certain design. So you need to be very unique with your design. So this is what happens. This is another what's bad about a bad product is people use a cookie cutter design. Okay, cookie cutter designs, sayings or quotes that's been used over and over again. I've seen it for the last 5 years. People still use the same exact sayings. Like, you know, my superpower is nursing, what's yours? Or my superpower is golfing, what's yours? You know, it's the same exact quote played over and over again. You're never going to sell those because those are the cookie cutter designs, okay? Go with something that is unique, okay? A unique design will always win with print on demand, and not a lot of people talk about that. And I know this video is about Facebook ads, but this is what I want to get into your guys' head. Okay? No ninja Facebook ads tactic will work if you have a bad product. I don't care. Your design is terrible. No one wants it. You won't be able to sell it. Alright guys? So I hope that makes sense, and let's move on to the next section. Alrighty guys, so we are back here, and I just erased the board again. And going back to what I mentioned previously is you need to find a good winning design, a good winning product. And how you're going to find that is the solution to you having no sales is volume. And what I mean by that is the more you test, so the more you test, the higher chance you have to finding a winning product. Okay. People, and then, you know, a lot of people that usually messages me saying, hey Cynthia, I've tested 10 designs, maybe 20 designs, I still have not found my first winner. Well, are you playing the volumes game? A lot of my students who have found a winning product are people that didn't just complain that they couldn't find one in their 10th design launch. Most of my students found their first winning product maybe at the 50th designs that they launched, because they don't give up. Now, it is purely a volume scheme. The more you test, the more data that you're going to get from Facebook, the more your audience is going to tell you whether or not they like this design. Maybe they like it, but they don't like it on a t-shirt, whatever it is. And what I always tell my students is success leaves clues. If you are posting a meme on your Facebook page and that meme has gotten, you know, like over 1,000 likes, people love it, think about putting that quote on a t-shirt. Okay, now there are a lot of, you know, funny quotes, funny sayings on, you know, platforms like Pinterest. Go into Pinterest and kind of do your research. You know, will my audience like this? Will my audience like that? And so what I usually do is I post all of those funny pictures onto my page, and then if a certain photo has gotten a lot of engagement, I will test that certain graphic, maybe a different take on it, put my unique spin on it, and I would test it based on engagement on my Facebook page. So not a lot of people will harness the audience already on their page to see whether or not their customers really like it. And so that just go back to, you need to test as many as you can. And I believe that a lot of people been asking me, hey Cynthia, you know, it can get pretty expensive testing. Yes, it can. And I believe I created a video previously on how you can get cheap designs, and I've been testing that out myself. You are able to get cheap designs. If you have not watched this video, I'll be linking it down below. Alright guys, so let's move on to the next part. Alrighty guys, we are back here, and right now we're going to be talking about the $5 Facebook ads, the infamous $5 Facebook ads. This is literally the #1 topic everybody always asks me about. So let's talk about the $5 Facebook ads. Will it work? Will it not work? So write this thing down. $5 Facebook ads is only good for testing. Only good for testing. I don't care if you're a newbie or experienced marketer. Everybody starts at $5 Facebook ads whenever you are testing a new product or a new service. And the reason behind that is, with $5 Facebook ads, you can only reach a certain amount of people, okay? So eventually, you need to scale. Okay. And most people say, you know, Cynthia, I want to scale, but I don't know how to scale. Well, basically, most people get stuck at the $5 ads that, depending on how competitive your keyword is, that $5 ads can only reach maybe 1,000 people or 2,000 people. Okay, so eventually, once you start getting maybe 1 or 2 sales, then you need to bump that up to maybe $10 or $20, because $10 will allow you to reach more people within a day than you would at $5. So scaling is very, very important if you want to go from making $100 a day to maybe $1,000 per day to maybe $5,000 per day, or even $10,000 per day. This scaling can get you these revenue numbers. Now, keep in mind that's only start scaling when you have sales at $5. I don't care if it's 1 sale or 2 sales. Once you get a few sales, you need to start scaling your ads to really fully test. Now, for testing, I usually only recommend $5 per day for 5 days. 5 days will give you enough data. Okay, so that will be $25 spent in total. This will give you enough data to determine whether or not your product is worth pursuing. Now, I have tested Facebook ad products all the way up to $50, $100, and what I found that testing up to $100 versus $25 didn't give me any extra information, right? At $25 ad spend, I can have enough data to figure out whether or not this design works. Alright guys, so the next one I'm going to be talking about is cost per purchase. So CPP, cost per purchase, and this is basically low versus high margin products. Okay, so depending on your product will determine your cost per purchase. So for low, it could be a $10 margin, and a high could be a $30 margin. Okay, so actually I'm going to erase this because I'm going to put this up here so you guys can see it. Alright guys, so I just erased it, and now we're going to be talking about how to calculate your CPP, cost per purchase. And this is what most people get bogged down in when they look at their Facebook ad metrics and they look at cost per purchase, and they don't know whether or not their ads are performing well because they don't understand how to calculate it. Okay, guys. So quickly, let's talk about how to calculate your cost per purchase. So say you have a product here, and that product costs that your customers went to your Shopify store, purchased a t-shirt. Let's just say they gave you $30 in total, okay? So say for example, your t-shirt is, you charge $24.99 and you charge $4.99 for shipping or whatever. It's going to be around about $30 in total, okay? And so what happens with this $30 is you got to pay for your product cost, okay? Meaning the cost that you pay your supplier to print your t-shirt and ship your t-shirt. So say it costs you about $10 for both the shipping fee and to print your t-shirt, okay? So you've made $30, now you got to pay $10 to your supplier. Then you also, and this is what most people neglect, is calculating their payment processor fees. And usually with Stripe and PayPal, their fees are the same. You can go inside of Shopify and look at the fees, but usually you may be paying, you know, $1 or $2 for the PayPal fees, okay? So you gotta keep in this account, okay? And then you have your advertisement fees, okay? And let's just say you pay Facebook $5 to get this one sale. Let's just say you ran it in 24 hours, and in that 24 hours, you only got one sale, which means you paid Facebook $5 that day to get that customer to come to your store and purchase from you. Okay. All right. So what happens is when we are calculating our profit / margin, okay, all we have to do is take the $30 that we got paid by our customer minus the 10, okay, and let's just make the math easier and say we had to pay $2 for our payment processor fees. So let's just say 2 minus 5. We'll get somewhere around a $13 margin, okay? That looks ugly. $13 profit, okay? Meaning after you pay your product costs, after you pay your credit card fees, after you pay off your advertisement fees, what is left over, okay? You get $13 left over, okay? Not bad if you're selling t-shirts. Now, this is what I want people to understand about cost per purchase, okay? And this number is dependent on your product. So product dependent, which makes sense because if you're running a t-shirt, okay, your product margin is tinier. If you're running an ad to a canvas, which usually you can charge $100 for a canvas, your margins will be a lot bigger, okay? So understanding what your margin is, what is your cost per purchase number, is very, very important to determine whether or not your ad is profitable, whether or not you're losing money, okay? So with cost per purchase, you need to make sure that your cost per purchase is way, way less than the margin of your product. So in this example, when I calculate my t-shirt product, my CPP is $13. So I need to make sure that when I go into inside of my Facebook ads, that my cost per purchase is going to be lesser than $13. So I know that I'll be profitable, okay? Now, a lot of people is going to be saying, well, Cynthia, what about my Facebook ads, okay? So that's why I'm saying you need to be a numbers person. Keep track of how much advertisement are you paying, what is your product cost, and how much are you paying to PayPal, okay? You need to constantly calculate that to figure out your cost per purchase. And the cost per purchase inside Facebook ads needs to be lower than what you're profiting. If it's higher, you will lose money, okay? And we never want to do that, and it can get dangerous for a lot of people. All right, guys? So I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then rewind this video and re-watch this part. All right, guys? So let's move on to the next topic, guys. All right, guys, so we are back here, and before I move on, I'm going to basically cover some of the basic knowledge that not a lot of people still can get it right. Sometimes when I talk to people and they throw out terms that doesn't necessarily make sense, or maybe they got confused. So I'm going to give you a little rundown on the basic process of when you're running your Facebook ads, okay? So I'm putting here some basic knowledge because this seems to be still a big roadblock to a lot of new people learning Facebook ads. And so as soon as you open up your ads manager and you click that button that says create an ad, you are automatically inside of the ad creation process. And the first question that they'll ask you is, what type of ad are you running? So the type of ad you're running in step 1 is called your campaign, right? You're at the campaign level basically. And at this level, you need to figure out whether you want to run a website conversion ad, a PPE ad, or a video view ad. Now there's other ad types that you can run, like page like ads, lead generation ads, things like that, website visits, you know, whatever it is, you'll choose it here, okay? And once you choose it, this is considered the campaign level. Because sometimes when I say campaign level, PPE ad, things like that, people don't understand exactly what I'm talking about. So this, when I say campaign level, this is exactly what I mean. Now, let's move on to the next one. This, when I say ad set level, okay, is when you hit the next button and you move on to the next part of it. And this is the part where you type in, you know, age, location, interest, okay, all that good stuff in the ad set level to determine what type of audience you want to target. And so anytime I say, please change, scale your budget at ad set level, this is where I mean. This is usually the second page of when you are creating your Facebook ads, okay? So a lot of people get this confused and says, oh, Cynthia, do I just create a completely new ad? I said, no, because that just means you're talking about campaign level. Sometimes when I talk about ad set level, this is the part that I want you to change, okay? So here are just some kind of basic terminologies for some people that don't understand. Or if say you're watching other people's videos, and sometimes people talk about campaign levels or ad set levels, is just how you can categorize it when you're watching them, okay? So last but not least is advert, okay? Now, anytime people say the advert level is basically, it means your ad post, okay? So it is the actual creative copy of, say, that you're promoting a t-shirt, okay, whatever your design is. The ad post itself that you created in Photoshop or whatever, that's going to be your advert, okay, level. Okay, so make sure you understand the 3 levels of when you create your ads. So understand. At campaign level, we're talking about website conversion, PP ads, video views. What is your main objective? Okay. Ad set level is when you set things like, you know, I want to target people that like cat magazines between the ages of 30 and 40, of people that live in the United States. Okay, that's ad set level stuff. And then adverts is your actual ad creative, something that you've probably created, I don't know, on Clipman, or you create it yourself on Photoshop, okay? So this is just kind of some basic knowledge I just want to throw out there. If you know it already, great. If you didn't, I hope you learned something. Alright guys, so let's move on to the next part, guys. Alright guys, so we're here in the next section. So in this part, I'm just going to be talking briefly about the funnel process and how you can harness Facebook ads to optimize your campaign based on the funnels inside of your Shopify store. Now remember, in order to do this, you need to set up your Facebook pixel correctly. If you did not set it up, please set it up, because this will not work if you don't have it. Based on the Facebook pixel data, we can know how many people looked at our product page, how many people purchased, how many people just added to cart but never purchased, all that good stuff. So you need all that data from Facebook in order to make this work. Okay, so in this section, we're going to talk about the funnel process. All right, so in a typical ad, you're going to have an ad copy here. Okay, so in your ad copy, you're probably selling, I don't know, let's say a t-shirt. Okay, someone clicks on your ad, what happens next? They're going to head to your product page, or also known as your landing page. Okay, this is where they'll actually see your actual t-shirt, the variants, how much it costs, things like that. Now, if your customers do click that button and says, hey, I want to add it to cart, they're going to go and to the add to cart page. Okay, this is where they'll fill out all of their shipping information, things like that. And then the next part that they're going to get to is called the checkout page. This is the part where they're going to probably put in their billing information and all that good stuff. They're going to put in usually their email in here as well. Okay. And last but not least, once they reach checkout, the last page they're going to get to is your thank you page or the purchase page. I'm going to put P here, okay? And this is the part where you also collect an email. And I'll explain why this is important. But basically, this is the basic funnel process. Your customer sees your ad on Facebook, clicks on it, goes to your landing page, they add it to cart, they put in their information, and then they purchase your product. Okay? Very, very basic process. But here is what I want to explain here is when you're running your ads, you're basically running ads to cold traffic, meaning people don't know who you are. Cold traffic, okay? And when you are running this process, the deeper that you run into this process, the better the traffic is. So let's just say that the customer adds to cart and never purchased your product. Well, what you can do is you can run a retargeting ad to retarget people who've already visited your page and says, hey, we noticed that you visit our website, but you did not purchase this product. How about you come back, have maybe take 10% off to finish your checking out process, okay? And so what we're dealing with when we're retargeting people is we're dealing with warm traffic, and that's usually on the this end of the funnel process, okay? So we're dealing with warm traffic, and warm traffic always converts way, way better than cold traffic, okay? And usually how revenue works is we are usually making way more money on this end than this end, okay? So with Facebook ads, you can retarget or optimize your Facebook ads to get your customers to come down this process rather than staying here, okay? Because no one's clicking on your ad, that means you have a bad product and you're not going to make as much money. All right, guys? So if, say, your customers come to your landing page and ask to cart, in both of these steps, when the Facebook pixel fires, you can actually retarget them, okay? Retarget people that has seen your landing page or add to cart, okay? Simple, okay? Just make a simple retargeting ad to ask people, says, hey, tell Facebook, please retarget everybody who has visited my page in the last 180 days, as that's the max that Facebook gives you, to come back and finish up the purchase, okay? Now, these two, again, if you look at the spectrum that I put here, okay, these are less likely to convert as opposed to the people who fall in these two categories. And let me tell you why. Okay. The people that fall into the checkout process, okay, who've entered their email but did not successfully purchase your product, or people that did purchase your product, they will, you can also retarget them on Facebook, but another thing you can do is also email them, okay? And then a lot of people who are newbies will say, well, Cynthia, how can I get their email in the checkout process when they never actually purchased the product? Meaning I never actually collected them. Well, if you actually install the app called Abandonment Protector, if people do enter their email in the checkout process but never actually purchasing the product, you still get that email address inside of your Abandonment Protector, where they'll automatically send 3 emails to get your potential customers to come back to purchase your products. And that's why I really love that specific app, because it does help you retarget your customers on 2 levels. So not only are you retargeting them on Facebook saying, hey, don't forget to purchase this product, you're also sending them a personal email with their items in their cart saying, hey, we have your cart still saved, why don't you come back to purchase your products? And so you'll always have that email that you can fall back on to get them to come back to check out. And people who reach this process are more likely to check out than the people who are further down the side of the funnel. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And I know a lot of people is going to be asking me about retargeting ads. Now with retargeting, okay, I usually don't retarget my customers if, say, 10 people came and visit and I made no sales. 10 people visit, that just shows that the product doesn't have a whole lot of demand. And so with retargeting, I need to make sure that I have at least over 100 people that has viewed my content, people that have visited this page. So viewed my content, and I usually retarget them very separately. So people who have viewed my landing page, people who have viewed my add to cart, people who have viewed the initiate checkout, and then people who have purchased as well. So I do these very separately, okay? And before I talk about this, is some people say, well, Cynthia, did you just say retarget people that have already purchased, but they've purchased already? Why do I need to retarget them? Here's what I usually retarget with people purchase. You just retarget with a different product, a new product. Remember, these people that purchase from you are proven customers who trust you and your brand. So it's very important that if you're not retargeting people who previously purchased from you, you're leaving money on the table. So this is very important. But other than that, let's get back to retargeting ads. So if you have 100 people that visit your add to cart but never purchase, okay, you can retarget people once I get over 100 add to cart. Same goes with 100 people that purchase. I just go and retarget them with a new product, okay? And don't forget that when you are retargeting people in these sections, to exclude the people that added to cart, and then people that added to cart exclude people that has purchased, okay? So if you do not exclude, it's going to get very messy, and you're going to be showing people these ads that they don't really understand, okay? So again, I talk a lot more in depth inside of my bootcamp. This is just scratching the surface. I hope you get a sense of just the general idea. All right, guys? So this is the basic funnel process that you need to be thinking about whenever you're running an ad. Where my customers are leaving my page, are they interested in my product, am I running the targeting ads actively? All right, guys, so let's move on to the next topic. Alrighty, guys, so we are back here, and for the next topic, I'm going to be talking about targeting. Okay, this is almost easily everybody's favorite topic when I talk about Facebook ads. So with targeting, there are obviously different interest groups. Okay, so basically if people who are interested in cats, firefighters, dogs, hamsters, whatever it is, people have different interests, okay? Another thing that you can do in Facebook ad targeting is you can have different placements, okay? And different placements meaning you can target people who are on desktop, mobile, or both. And obviously you can tell Facebook, hey, please show this ad on Instagram, please show this ad on the newsfeed, or please show this ad on the display network. Whatever it is, you can select the placements. But usually when I recommend when people try to test a new ad, to go with both desktop and mobile, but only sticking with the news feeds. Because with news feeds, you're going to get better results. It's going to be a lot more expensive just because everybody usually go for news feeds, but that's usually the place where you want to test. Okay, now obviously if you found a winning product, you want to start expanding out your placements, but when you're getting started, newsfeed is the way to go. Okay, so another thing you can do is test different age groups, ages. Okay. So with Facebook ads, when you go into Audience Manager, you can actually break down age groups from 25 to 34 and 35 to 44, 45 to 54. And let's just say that you tested a product and you're getting consistent sales, and you have determined that it is a winning product and it is scalable. So what you can do is actually look into Facebook, and Facebook will actually give you this data saying when you targeted your audience, okay, so let's just say you did 18 and above, okay, so you spent $5. What I would do is I would run different ad sets to different age groups, okay? Because I want to test out, is a certain age group more likely to purchase from me? And I would put $5 on, 25 to 34. I would test another $5 ad set on the 35 to 44 age, and I'll put another $5 ad set on the 45 to 54 age. Because usually when you're running an ad, Facebook will give you those data. Not a lot of people pay attention to the age data that Facebook gives you, because most people, they kind of assume where their audience is, and I always tell my students, never make assumptions, because sometimes, like for an example, if you're in the cat niche and you assume that your audience are girls between the ages of 18 and 25, will buy your t-shirt, and then when you actually ran the ad and then Facebook shows you that it's likely, older women 54 and above are more likely to purchase your product, okay? And those are the people that you want to hone in on, okay? And what I mean by that is, it's not to neglect the other age groups, it's you want to scale accordingly to the age group that is purchasing more from you. Because say that you're scaling an ad and you're scaling it in a broad age spectrum, so 18 and up, okay? Meaning anyone who's 18 and up will see your ad, and as you're scaling, you're not scaling as efficiently, okay? So let's just say, for an example, the age 25 and 34, you made 8 sales, okay? And the 35 to 44, you made 20 sales. People age 45 to 54, you made 3 sales, okay? And all in all, your CPP, cost per purchase, is, just to say, $7. Your cost per purchase here is $3, and your cost per purchase here is $11, okay? And usually when you break up the age groups and you start scaling and you start reading the data, you will realize that there is usually a specific age group that will purchase from you. Now, I'm not saying it always happens, but it could happen depending on your niche. And basically, what people aren't reading inside their Facebook data is how well each of the age group is performing, where your main buyer audience is. And if you got 8 sales from 25 to the 34 age group, your cost per purchase, right? How much you're paying for every customer that you acquire is $7, okay? Because you made 8 sales. And let's just say, for an example, people that in the 35 to 44 age group, you made 20 sales. So when you calculate and you look inside the Facebook metric, your cost per purchase is $3. Okay, $3 is way less than $7, meaning you only have to pay Facebook $3 to acquire every customer. Now, you look at your Facebook data, 45 to 54. Say you make 3 sales, your cost per purchase is $11. That's pretty expensive. So what I always tell my students is when you are breaking up into age group and then scaling per the age group, to pay attention to your cost per purchase. Find the one that is the smallest, that is getting you the cheapest conversions, and then scale that one to the moon. Okay, so that's not to say like cut these 2 ads, the 25 and the 45. I'm not saying to cut these ads. I'm saying to scale accordingly. So what I want you to take away from this is scale accordingly. You need to be scaling your Facebook ads accordingly. So say you start at $5 ads for each one, okay? And you get, 1 sale here, you may want to go $10. And you say you get, 5 sales here, you maybe want to go to $20. And then you get 3 sales here, maybe you want to keep it the same, okay? So unless you are not making sales, then I would say to kill the ad. But if you are making some sales, you want to start scaling immediately, okay? So breaking up into age groups allow you to scale each of the one based on sales, based on data. And the difference is what I see when people tell me, hey Cynthia, can you take a look at my ads? What I'm always seeing is people picking age 21 and up and trying to scale broadly because they never actually go down to the section to look at the age, okay? So make sure that you are looking at age groups, maybe not even age groups. Maybe you find that people on Android devices are more likely to purchase than iPhone devices, okay? You maybe want to split test that as well. Maybe you found that people living in the United States are converting way better than people living in Canada. Or you may find that a certain targeting interest like cat magazines converts way better than cat food, okay? So it's kind of separating them, kind of dissecting the data that Facebook gives you for better targeting, for cheaper conversions, because over time, if you're not paying attention to those data, you're actually paying Facebook a whole lot more money per conversion than you would if you're constantly split testing and refining your targeting. All right, guys. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can always comment down below. I'll try to answer it. But let's just move on to the next topic, guys. Alrighty guys, so I am back here and right now I'm going to be talking the 4 main Facebook ad metrics that you should be paying attention to whenever you are reading your data for your Facebook ads. And the first one I'm going to touch on is called CPM, or cost per million, meaning how much are you paying Facebook for every 1,000 people that you are showing your ads to. So with CPM, I like to go for a number that is less than 20, okay? Because when you're starting out with a new pixel, your cost per million could range in the $30 to reach 1,000 people. However, as your pixel matures, your CPM, you should start seeing it come down. So usually I like to see it below 20, preferably below 10, okay, for CPM, okay? Cost per click, so CPM, you want it as low as possible, okay? Meaning you're paying Facebook a low cost to reach 1,000 people, okay? So the next one I'm going to talk about is called cost per click, meaning how much are you paying every time someone clicks on your ad. So obviously we want it as low as possible, cost per click, because we want to pay as less amount of money for each person that clicks on our ad. And so with cost per click, you really want to get somewhere that is as low as possible, and that can actually vary a lot. So the next one that you need to pay attention to is called click-through rate, and it's usually a percentage. So click-through rate, from my experience, is niche dependent. Okay, in some niches, dependent. Okay. In some niches, say for example you're in the cat niche, the click-through rate is usually maybe 1%, okay? Now, sometimes if you are in a different niche, say in the hunting niche, your click-through rate may range a little bit higher, meaning 7%, which is really good, okay? And usually it is niche dependent, so you have to really run ads to kind of figure that out yourself. It's not something that anyone can tell you. But usually, in general, for my click-through rate, I like to see it above a 1%. 1% isn't that great, but 1%, if you're over 1%, is usually what I shoot for. 2% is better, okay? So obviously, the higher your click-through rate, the better your ad performance, okay? So we want this as high as possible, okay? So this works in terms of percentage, okay? And also the last thing I look at is cost per purchase. Obviously, cost per purchase, we want it as low as possible. And I just previously mentioned how to calculate cost per purchase. If you still don't know how to calculate, just rewind this video and rewatch it again. But basically, look at your cost per purchase. Now, this will be product dependent. Okay. So click-through rate is niche dependent and cost per purchase is product dependent. Make sure you get that straight, okay? And like I said, I told you how to calculate cost per purchase, but basically if you have a t-shirt, okay, the profit margin, you want it maybe less than 18. But if you have a canvas, you want your profit margin, okay, to be less than 30, okay? So when you calculate your cost per purchase, let's just say my t-shirt, my profit margin is 18. I need to make sure that my cost per purchase is less than 18, okay? If you're running a canvas, make sure your cost per purchase is less than 30. Again, I've already taught you guys how to calculate this. Make sure you just have it below. If you have it over, that means you are not profitable and you are losing money, okay? So you can do a few things. You can either reevaluate your ad or make sure your sales funnel is high converting, and when your customers come to your store, is it trustworthy, okay? Look at certain factors, okay? So I'm going to be erasing this and I'm going to be moving on to the next topic, guys. Alrighty guys, so right now I'm going to be talking about the #1 metric when you are trying to understand how well your Facebook ads is doing. So in addition to the 4 Facebook ad metrics that we talked about previously, right now I'm going to be talking about the #1 metric. #1 Facebook metric, and that is purchase or sales, okay? Write this down. The #1 metric that you should be paying attention to is purchase. And let me show you what I mean. If you are paying Facebook, say $10 per day, okay, let's just say per day, and within this Facebook $10 per day, you are making $50 profit, okay? That's after you calculate how much you earn, the revenue, okay? So if you're paying Facebook $10 every day and you're making a $50 profit, okay, and you look into your ad and say, well, Cynthia, how come my CPM is 30 and how come my click-through rate is so low, it's like 0.5, things like that, you know, should I cut this ad? And when I actually look at their sales, I'm like, well, you're getting sales, how come you're not scaling? Okay, and so what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter how bad your other metrics look. If you are profitable, meaning you're making sales, you're in a positive ROI, those metrics are meaningless, okay? If I'm making $50 for every $10 that I spent, okay, I'm going to be spending $10 with Facebook all day, every day, okay? So this is the part that bogs a lot of people down. Now, people say, well, Cynthia, all right, so I'm looking at metrics, then does it mean I never have to pay attention to the 4 metrics you talked before? No, there are a few things that you need to consider whenever you are making decisions. And so whenever, let's just say for an example, you're running your $10 Facebook ad and you are breaking even, okay? Then, if you're breaking even, okay, you could then refer to the 4 Facebook ad metric that I mentioned before, okay? Those will help you make a decision based on, should you keep that ad running? Should you cut it? Should you maybe test it to a different audience? Things like that, okay? So another thing that I would refer to the 4 Facebook ad metrics that I mentioned previously is, say I made 1 sale, all right? And I got amazing engagement. So I have good engagement. Okay. So I got 1 sale plus I got good engagement. So it makes me wonder, I got 1 sale and I have good engagement. Maybe that tells me that this audience that I'm targeting likes my product, that maybe it is a good product, but I'm targeting the wrong audience. And so, for an example, let's just say you are targeting a cat t-shirt to people that like cat celebrities. And people that like cat celebrities, you probably generate 1 sale, but it has amazing engagement, but you're not profitable, okay? So what I would do is I would take the same exact t-shirt design, retest it to a different audience, to people that like cat magazines or cat foods, okay? So this would validate a second testing, okay? And what I would do is I would go back and look at my metrics. You know, am I getting at least a good click-through rate? Is my CPM low? Is it meeting the cost per purchase? Things like that, okay? So there's certain things that you got to look at before you make your final decisions, okay? But again, I just want to kind of tell you that the #1 metric you are supposed to be looking at is purchase, okay? As long as you are profitable, it does not matter what the other metrics are saying. It's only in certain situations, if you are breaking even or you're unsure, you say you made a sale and you're not profitable, but you're getting good engagement, things like that. You know, sometimes you have to work on a hunch to say like, okay, you know, I'm breaking even, maybe I have a few sales, let me look at the metrics to help me make my final decisions, okay? And so this is actually how you're supposed to be approaching Facebook ads. It's very complex. Like I said, it works on an algorithm. And if you're not using the data, then you're actually paying Facebook a lot of money. And, you know, they're giving you data. Okay, that's what you're also paying for. Okay, so make sure you use it to your advantage. All right, guys, so let's move on to the next topic. Alrighty, guys, we are back here. And this video will probably be super long, but I promise that you'll get a lot of value out of this. But the next topic I want to talk about is scaling, and this is a very, very important concept to master. Okay, so for scaling, make sure you are not starting at high budgets. What most people don't understand is when you start at high budgets, like $50, Facebook needs time to optimize your ad. And so at $50, sometimes you could be paying Facebook $50 to optimize when you can actually start at $5. So always start at $5 and then slowly scale up to 10, 20, you know, 30, so on and so forth, okay? And inside of my bootcamp, I actually talk about the 7 different scaling techniques that my students have been finding a lot of success in because they use it. So in my bootcamp, I have 7 different scaling techniques. Okay, so that's too many scaling techniques for me to explain in one video alone. But because you're watching this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 2 scaling techniques inside of my bootcamp, just kind of briefly for people just to kind of understand. So the first thing you can do is call vertical scaling. Okay, so with vertical scaling, you are scaling based on sales. Okay. You use sales to determine your daily ad budget. So with vertical scaling, you can go from $5, scale to 10, okay? Scale to 20, okay? And sometimes, let's just say at $20, you didn't make enough sales. Maybe you'll scale back down to 15, okay? Or maybe you made sales at 15, you'll scale back up to 30, okay? Whatever the case may be, this is what vertical scaling is. Scaling based on sales. Depending on how many sales that you have is how you would scale, all right? And so this is what I teach inside my bootcamp. Just my scaling rules alone, I can sell that for at least $1,000 just for that. And a lot of my students have success with that, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is horizontal scaling. Okay. And that is scaling with different interests. Okay. So say you are in the cat niche and you want to scale to people that like magazines, people that like cat blogs, or people that like cat food. Okay. So with horizontal scaling, you're scaling based on interest. So you separate out the different interest groups, and with magazines, you start out with $5 and maybe you'll move to $10 and then $20. With blogs, you could scale from $5, $10, maybe to $30, okay? With food, you can scale from 5 to maybe 15 to maybe 20, okay? However it is, with horizontal scaling, you're basically scaling per the interest, okay? Vertical scaling is one of them, okay? This is basically vertical scaling, okay? Horizontal is interest-based, okay? So, you know, there's a lot more that goes into it that I talk a lot more in depth, but I don't want to make this video too long. But basically, no one is getting rich off of $5. Eventually, you need to start scaling, okay? Because with $5, you can only reach so many people. You'll need to be increasing your bidding to reach 1,000 people in a day, 10,000 people, okay? And so all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I think this video is getting way too long. Alrighty guys, we are back here, and I know I covered a lot of topics about Facebook ads, and for me, Facebook ads was pretty difficult to understand when you're getting started, and it literally took me at least 2 years to fully understand how it works. And so it's definitely impossible to cover everything that I ever know about Facebook ads all in one video, but I hope that this gives you a gist about how Facebook ads work and that how you can get started today. All right guys, so here are some main takeaways that I want you guys to remember from this video. If there were some parts that were confusing, just go ahead and rewind this video to watch it again. But basically, make sure that you understand that $5 ads are only good for testing. That's good for testing for several reasons. Facebook needs time to optimize, and you're not breaking the bank to test whether or not your product works. Number 2, you need to scale, okay? $5 ads is, you're gonna only be able to reach a certain amount of people. And if you want to scale up to $1,000 per day, $10,000 per day, you definitely need to start scaling into higher budgets. And you can do that via vertical scaling or horizontal scaling. Remember, I have 7 different scaling strategies inside of my bootcamp that my students are using and crushing, okay? So if you're interested, I recommend you checking out teebootcamp.com. All right, guys. But basically with scaling, it's basically going from $10 a day to $20 a day to $50 per day, maybe even $100 per day, and that's how you're going to really make those big bucks, okay? Now another thing that I talked about is bad product. Remember, with a bad product, it will never sell. I don't care, you can learn everything that I taught you in today's video about Facebook ads, but it doesn't really matter if your product is terrible. If you have a bad product, it will never sell. I don't care if you're running a $50 ad to the best audience ever. No one will buy it if you have a bad design, all right? So the next thing that I talked about is analyzing your data. Remember, I gave you the 4 Facebook ad metric plus the #1 ad metric of purchase. If you are not analyzing that data, you'll be missing a lot on sales. And so know where the drop-off is. Know where in your funnel people are dropping off. Maybe there are certain things that's wrong with your Shopify store that you need to figure out. Maybe it's a trust issue, or maybe your price is too high. Whatever it is, make sure you know where the drop off is. And last but not least, understand targeting. A lot of times people don't understand, you know, is this audience good for a buying audience, or this audience is more likely to engage? And you can only know that by testing. You can't know that by some guru trying to tell you, okay? So it's very important. These are some of the main takeaways that I talked about. Obviously, if you got a lot of value out of this video, please remember to like and subscribe so that I'll be putting out more content relating to Facebook ads. And also, if you have any questions, please leave it down in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested in starting your own print-on-demand business, I have a free training that you can sign up for. It's at build.teebootcamp.com. That's build.teebootcamp.com. Also, guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to join my free Facebook group. I have the link down below. And again, if you like this video, don't forget to give this a thumbs up so I know to make more in the future. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.